Hey everyone, welcome back to Pete Punch Beef Gaming. In this week's video, we're going to do a bit of an unboxing of a Kickstarter I got. And that Kickstarter is this. Well, kind of. This is the plushie that came with the Kickstarter. More specifically, we're going to be doing an unboxing of the Twisted Taverns 5th edition role-playing game supplement. So I'm very excited to dive into you with all of the, not only the stuff that came with the Kickstarter, but also the bonus content that came along with it as unlock and stretch goals. So with that, let's get started. All right, so jumping right into it, I think probably the item that is of most interest to everybody is the actual book itself. As I open this up, I'll talk a little bit about the Kickstarter as a whole. So the Kickstarter raised just a little over $1.6 million, which is incredible for a role-playing game supplement. I think that's indicative of Eldermancy, who is the producer of this, the quality of what they're trying to put out here. Eldermancy started out with a wide variety of things that were available. You could just get, you could donate for the PDF, the hardcover and tavern maps, or you could go up to $62 and get the quest board, deck of cards, dice, and an enamel pin. I did the $125 level, which got the all the stuff I listed before, but also the coaster set, Stein, and modular tavern. The only thing I didn't get was the special edition dice case and special edition book. That I think was about $250, and I was just a little bit, I wanted to check it out first and see where it went, so I didn't quite get there. I have to tell you, I'm sure the special edition is beautiful, but I feel like this itself is a pretty gorgeous full color book. You can see Eldermancy's logo there. 5th edition fantasy for Dungeons and Dragons compatibility, although I think you could probably use this for just about anything. You can see the graphics on the inside, a bunch of different potion bottles, shot glasses, decanters. That looks like maybe a soup bowl or a drinking bowl, something along those lines. Really nicely done, thick papers in here. You've got a beautiful introduction, and then your table of contents. It looks like it's about a 320-page book. Gives full credit to D&D and the 5th edition license. And what you can see here is all of the different taverns that are available. You've got, it looks like 17 different taverns that you can explore or drop into your campaigns. So you've got the Wizard's Watering Hole, Railway, Whaleback Tavern, the Bloated Bounty, the Dancing Horse, Poor Larry's, Ironstein Mine, Fungal Grotto, the Drunken Treasure, Grand Shanty, Spring Peace, Treetop Tavern, Dungeon Darkness, Teapot Temple, and By the Frost, and Tavern at Death's Door, and the Daydream, of course. So all of these taverns, inside there has an introduction, areas of the taverns, who operates, the guest, the menu, the quest board, events, tavern history, and kind of the stat blocks that will be in 5th edition. So you can see it's full colored artwork. So this is the Wizard's Watering Hole. It's got a layout of the map. You also have just all sorts of different art here. You've got like the bartender. You've got the tavern operators and who's in the mix. You've got a blowout of the tavern itself and kind of a layout. So this is, it talks about the restrooms, the storage, the private parlor, gardens, so on and so forth. You've got a blown out tavern guest. So if you're searching for names or who these people are, you've got it already outlined. So like Olin the Wizcard, a male human commoner. Olin is an aspiring wizard. He's a regular at the Wizarding Watering Hole and spends most of his time researching the inner workings of the tavern. He carries a cluster of loose papers and unreadable notes, scribbling on them and constantly mumbling to himself. When interacting with players, Olin heavily implies that he is on the verge of a breakthrough, but unable to fully explain what he's after. Olin expresses a strong interest in the top floor, but will only mention it in hushed tones. If the player accepts the quest to explore the upstairs, he will join them until he unlocks the door. And it kind of, so it gives you an idea of what these characters do and who they are and how they might interact. And you can see that, there's a number of them. There's Thrag the Devourer, Horgut, Spellgut, Horgar, Spellgut, so on and so forth. And then, of course, you've got the wine. So you don't just have to say mead and ale. You've got the Evergreen Salad or the Wizard's Wine or Curdled Night Hag or whatever the case may be, which is really cool. Really good creative flavor there, too. And then you've got the quest board. And the quest board gives you an idea of the different things that players can do within the tavern, little adventures, things of that nature. And then, of course, the stat blocks for all the creatures laid out in classic 5th edition style. So it is a really slick presentation of an area that's highly featured in any D&D campaign, it seems like, or any role-playing game campaign as a whole. You're always in the tavern. So what's going on in the tavern? What are you looking at? So here's the railway. It's got the same sort of thing, but it's a different thematic layout, beautifully artistically rendered. They've got their menus, and then it moves into the Wildback Tavern, and it gives you kind of the overview of the tavern and the art of what it looks like, which always goes a long ways with the players, helping them to bring this game of imagination to vivid life. This one looks like it's kind of maybe Southwestern, Mayan, Native American themed, something along those lines. It's beautifully done and laid out. And then you go to the Bloated Bounty, which this looks like it is probably some sort of Colosseum type Roman style, as you can see here in the art. And then you've got the menu here and the quest board. And then you've got the dancing horse. The point is this is beautifully laid out. I am super impressed. And this is the first time I'm flipping through this book. But it looks like it has just about a tavern for almost all the different environments that you could possibly be looking to get into. And so I think this is going to be a book that heavily gets used in my rotation. Very impressive, Eldermancy, very impressive indeed. So finally, as you move to the back of the book in chapter 18, you've got past all the maps here of the different taverns, what they look like. You've got a poem back here, the open game license. So it's just kind of a summary of these. It's a map index, as it were, which is nice. And you've got some world travelers, unique adventurers who are kind of a part of the game. And you can see, like, this gentleman is the gambler. And he's got his whole stat block, chaotic neutral, and the different actions he can take, challenge rating 7. So, just pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. So that's the book. This is like the core product that they released, and I think is pretty exciting. Now, let's get into some of the other things that they had available. So this right here is the Tavern Map Pack. And I suspect these are the maps that we were looking at. Yep, 20 ready-to-play player maps. All the different taverns that you've got. And this looks like it's kind of a folio or a folder of the different maps in here. So a nice little storage solution to be used. I suspect the quality is going to be just as nice with the rule book as it was this, or will be as it was with the rule book. As we get this all unpacked here. Okay, so this opens up. Got a little pocket folder here, and then all these slide out. And you can see we've got 20 maps here. So we'll just pick one at random. This is, well, they're all very colorful. Set that to the side. So nicely blown out maps here. You can see the mats, 1 inch by 1 inch squares. It's got all the different rooms. I think this is the Roman cathedral version. Perfect for your players to put their pawns on there. You know, you got a little gambling area over here. And if you look, as I turn this around, they're double-sided, but it also shows you the name. So that's the Bloated Bounty upper level. And shows you all the different areas. And then here is the other side. So I'm just going to fold this one in half just to make it a little bit more manageable. The Drunken Treasure, second floor. And you've got the theme of the starfish and everything else. And very nice aquatic art on this one. You can see the hammerhead sharks over here in the corner. So again, very, very nicely done. And you've got 20 of these guys to look at overall here. I suspect these will get used pretty heavily. And they're nicely contained in that folio that we've got here. Okay, with that out of the way, let's now go to the next big item, and this is the Daydream, which I think is really their premier tavern. That it's the showcase tavern, and I think what they did here is provide you with hard tiles because the tavern can change and morph as it presents every time. And so you can see you've got this kind of it might be kind of hard to see, but this kind of cool three-dimensional art on the front of the box with the Seeker's Guide to the Twisted Taverns. And here's the Daydream, and it's a bunch of hard tiles. So we've got some doors here, and here's a pawn of the proprietor of the inn itself. And then the tiles, you can lay them out. They're double-sided, the bar, all sorts of good stuff in here that you can look at. And so those are they're nice hard pressboard too, cardboard. I suspect they will survive years of wear and tear. And, you know, tile-wise, it looks like these are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 double-sided tiles. These are 3x3s. And then you've got 4x4s. I believe also 16, no, maybe not, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of those in here. A little bit smaller. And then you've got these 2x4s that are up here. And 2, 4, 6, 8. These are also double-sided. So very nicely done. And then a handful of doors. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So pretty good amount of tiles overall, especially these 3x3s. Yeah, sure enough, looks like 14 or 16 of them in here. That's a really nice value add right there. And then of course, we'll move this to the side for just a second and take a look at the book here. The Daydream. This is a book that's to run the tavern property. You need a modular tile expansion set for the Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. Each tile represents a possible room. The party could enter and use the deck to draw from is a simpler option than rolling for each room type. So it looks like you can you randomize each room. So areas of the tavern, the dining room, if you get a 1 to 2 on a D6. And then, of course, you've got tables for combat, puzzles, social, treasure. in each of the different areas and the different type of bosses that can come out of the room. And you've got bedroom guests in here. So it's like a whole nother like mini tavern available for you to go into. And I'm excited to explore kind of the history behind the, well, here it is, the tavern history behind the Daydream as a whole. So this just real quick, it says, nothing is known about the origins of this tavern. Even those who discover the Dream Keys are unsure whether or not it truly exists. Most drunkards and thieves enter the Daydream, then more drunkards and thieves enter the Daydream than scholars, and only a small number have been able to leave. Unable to compare notes, several theories have attempted to describe the history to its existence. And then it gives you some bullet points on what those are. This beautiful menu that you've got here. And again, the artwork is fantastic. So that's a really cool, it's almost like a mini adventure in this box as a whole, modular tavern set. So 32 double-sided taverns, 10 doors, 16-page booklet. Looks like in collaboration with Ghostfire Games and Eldermancy. Now, let's take a look at some of the other things that came with it. So we got some enamel pens as part of the Kickstarter, I think, the set. And I think these look really nice. I don't do a whole lot with enamel pens myself, but I know some people are very much into these. And so I'll go ahead and show you what we've got here. The quality looks like it's just as nice as everything else, but it looks like we've got some barrels. And then we've got a beer, a D20, and then just a generic Twisted Tavern. Beautiful enamel pens. So we got that. Then, of course, we got the plushie here, which looks like perhaps the tavern keeper for the Daydream Tavern. Looks like maybe a tiefling, something along those lines. It's nice. It's probably about 16 inches tall. It's probably would be snapped up by my kids here for too long. Then we got a coaster set of the Twisted Taverns, another Kickstarter option here, and looks like we've got a total of 5 coasters. Red, green, purple, or blue, purple, and orange. So those are cool. Those will get some use on the table. I'm sure there's collectors out there that'll tell you, don't use them, save them. But I'm a user generally when it comes to these things. Then we got a few more items. We got a deck of cards here. And I believe this is a standard deck of cards, poker set of cards here you can see on the side. I think you can probably use it with the modular tavern set to help you figure things out as opposed to just rolling dice to figure out what shows up here. And one of the things I did see in the book is I think that they invented their own gambling games associated with it, but the art looks like it's themed after, I was going to say maybe one of each of the different taverns, but it looks like it might just be generic art here, but it's good. And here's the rules for the Trail Seeker. So it gives you the rules right in here. And how this game is played. And here's the back of the cards. The old lady. So you got that the plushie there for the rules, and then there's the symbol for the Seeker's Guide to the Twisted Taverns. Okay, those are very nice. Those are certainly cool to be added to the collection here. All right, let's see what else we've got to show everybody. We got some dice in this little dice pouch. Twisted Tavern logo on it. Open this out. Looks like it's big enough for just a couple sets of dice here. Kind of the brown motif. And it's your standard 7 set of polyhedrals here. You've got your D20, and it looks like nothing on the 1 or the 20. Other than the numbers, so no special die rolls here. Hey, look at that, a 20 on my first roll. A couple of D10s for your percentiles, the D12, We got a D3 or D6 rather, D8, and our D4. Yeah, so nice. It's good. Nice little add-on. In addition to that, it looks like we got a sticker set. These also will likely get commandeered by my kids. They tend to take these stickers and put them on whatever's fun for them at the time being. So let's go ahead and just take a quick peek. Looks like there is 2 pages of stickers here, which is great. These look like really nicely laminated, coated stickers here. All the different symbology on there. Oh, that's a really nice touch. I like those. And then we've got, looks like another map. I wonder if this was just not included in the original print run or didn't fit in the Tavern Map Pack, or if it's something else entirely different. I'll have to take a deeper dive into this and see what we've got here. But we'll just open it up and see which tavern it is. So it looks like By the Frost. So that's definitely a tavern that we saw in the book. Oh, it's kind of a multi-part map. Looks like it's got several different. We've got the Poor Larry's down here. Looks like we got the C one up here. So it's just kind of a continuation. Maybe it was just something that needed to be printed additionally. I'll add it over there, and I bet it fits in just fine. And then we're on to our last 2 items. This is, it looks like a printed menu that you can pass out to one of your players. Not sure which menu it is in particular, but we'll open it up and find out. See if it's single or double-sided. So single-sided. Oh no, it's not a menu. This is the wanted board. Oh, that's cool. You can see all the King's Decree, Seeking Adventures, Help Wanted, Rewards. Oh, that's a nice touch. That's very thematic. That'd be cool to kind of frame up. And then the last item I'll show you here is the mug that came with it too. So I think, well, you can see the logo here. It's a nice little brass copper. Looks like you can probably hand wash this. This ring doesn't come out. I think this is wood. It feels like it. Yeah, it's a nice little mug. So if you're holding it right-handed, the logo faces out to whoever you're sitting there with. Left-handed, the logo's obviously looking at you on the inside. Well, that's cool. That's a neat little tchotchke to add to the mix. So that's all the items from the Seeker's Guide to the Twisted Taverns. I'll do a quick recap now. All right. So the Seeker's Guide to the Twisted Taverns, $125 for me on this Kickstarter by Eldermancy and Ghostfire Games. I guess Ghostfire Games produced a lot of the materials here. Eldermancy designed it up for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, although I think you could probably use it for just about any fantasy role-playing game setting. 125 bucks. What's my gut reaction? How do I feel about spending that money and getting this product? I actually feel pretty darn good about it. There's a lot of material here between the maps and the supplemental material in the book. You've got the deck of cards for the dice game in case you're doing something in taverns. You've got the wanted board that you can put up, and the coasters and the stickers. And an adventure, it looks like, or all the taverns have a bit of an adventure that's going on. So I really feel like there's a lot of value packed into $125. Even if you just got the book, I think you would be pretty thrilled with the material and the content. Beautiful publishing, printing, layout. The content looks pretty good too in terms of the writing. I'm a big fan of Eldermancy. I'm feeling like it was money well spent, especially if you do a lot of 5th edition gaming. Very well done. You know, I think if I had any sort of criticism, the dice, I didn't feel like those were a must-have. They're cool, but there's nothing on them that specifically denotes that it's the Twisted Taverns, except for maybe the color. There isn't a symbol on the D6 or anything. It's just the 6. So maybe, and I'm really nitpicking here, maybe they could have put the Twisted Tavern logo on there, something along those lines. And I really feel like I'm kind of scraping at the bottom of the barrel to find something to pick at them over. I suppose maybe as I get into it more and read into the material, maybe there will be something with the content. But just the little bits that I read to the group here as a whole, I feel like that's likely not to be the case. If you're a role player and you are in a fantasy setting, you are probably in a tavern at some point and you're looking for a little content to help breathe some life to the tavern and not just generic NPCs and generic drinks and generic rooms. This I think gives it to you because it covers all the settings. You've got maps to cover it. You've got the NPCs already built out, so it's just all contained into one. So I'm definitely going to give this a thumbs up. Eldermancy, fantastic job with this. I cannot wait to see what you guys do next. Certainly I'll be on the lookout for it. Otherwise, great purchase, and I hope you all enjoy this product as much as I have. Thanks for tuning into this unboxing. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and we'll do some more unboxing soon. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.